Okay.
Okay, I have returned.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Ooh, I have to go grab a new blade real quick. This one is
Oh,
breaking apart.
oh no.
Yeah, we'll wait for a couple minutes for other people to roll in if they want to anyways.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well so far.
Good. I planted some watermelon seedlings earlier today. My sister's in high school, and she had to use them for some seeds for a project, and so I got to keep the
Okay.
stuff I grew.
Really? Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
My mom, she used to grow watermelons when she was growing up. So I'm
That's really
like,
Hi.
I
cool.
want to do that one day.
What I
What,
miss?
what do you? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I planted some watermelon seedlings earlier today.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Thanks.
How long will it take for them to like sprout or
Um,
like come to be?
that's a good question. I think they can grow into a pretty sizable vine just over a couple months.
Ooh. Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, they grow fast.
Oh, that's exciting. Oh, I love that.
I'm gonna have some watermelons by summer.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they'll be in season too.
Yeah.
All
Smart. I like that.
right. Well, today is more of a like up to you guys, whatever you want to practice day, considering it is spring break. Normally we'd warm up with a sort of like game, but there's not much we
Ooh.
can do online, so I think we can just start off by doing some stretches and then we'll just see where it goes from there, I suppose.
Ooh, okay. That works for me.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so in alphabetical order. So I guess,
Oh.
Minette, you can start counting.
All right. So we're gonna do the leg stretch, right? Or no, the arm stretch. Okay.
Eh, do whatever, yeah.
One. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
One,
Run.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All right.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Move your quads now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do
Do
lunges.
lunges. Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then
And switch.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay. And reverse lunge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Down onto the ground. There we go. Don't know how well you guys can see. Oh well. One leg out, other leg in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And both legs out while I adjust my phone settings. There we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Next in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Standing back up. Okay, we can do arm circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1,
Switch directions.
2, 3, 4, 5.
And wrists.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Switch directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And head rolls.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Switch. I'm going to assume Rowan is counting.
Yeah.
All right, good enough. Okay. So, I don't know. Is there anything specific that you guys wanted me to go over today? Any footworks, blade works? Anything, whatever?
Nothing specific.
Nothing specific?
I wanted to do like the combination thing again.
The combination stuff, the blade works?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We can do those. I'll put that aside for a little later because that is blade work. I'm gonna see if we have any like footwork and stuff we want to do, but we'll get there.
Okay.
I don't know. Is there any one action that you guys feel particularly uncomfortable with?
Mine would be the fletching.
Fleshing?
That's yeah.
Okay.
I believe that's
What about it is like weird for you?
putting my weight on like the front leg and then pushing off to
Oh, the whole concept
yeah.
of like pushing off from your front leg.
Yeah.
Hmm. We can practice fleshes for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels unnatural,
It
which because normally you want to push off from your back leg,
Mhm.
right? But obviously, the whole reason we push off from our front leg is to gain more distance,
Mhm.
right? Because if you just think about your first step, if you take your first step from your back foot,
Mm-hmm.
your legs are already open. You can gain some distance. Whereas if I push off with my front foot, with one step,
Oh.
I'm out of the camera frame, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we push off with our front foot.
Okay.
So why don't we just do some flushes for a couple minutes
Okay.
and just focus on having your weight in your front foot before you go.
Okay.
So like take your time. It doesn't have to be like any sort of real bout simulation. Just from an on guard, make sure you're leaning forwards. Maybe bend your knee a little, make it easier. And
Okay.
really focus on that first step. Like we can even do something similar to what we did yesterday with the markers. So just grab some
Oh.
markers and place your front foot, and then see how far you can get your back foot in one step. Don't like slide and crash into your walls or anything. Be careful. I personally recommend taking your socks off if you're doing this on carpet.
Okay.
But just do your flush and see how far you can jump with one foot. So one marker on your front foot, and then try to get your back foot out as far as you can in one step.
Okay, so it's where your back foot lands.
Right. Let's see if I
Okay.
can like. Is that? Okay, because I've got one marker right about here. Can't really see it.
Yeah.
But as I
Yeah.
jump forwards with my back foot, this is where my second marker is going to be. And then I'm going to just try to see how far I can push it.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. Okay. I think that's what was confusing me with the fletching is what to do with my back leg is that you push off with your front leg, but then your back leg ends up like leading, I guess. So you push off with your front
Okay,
leg,
yeah.
and
Because
then your
flushes
back
is one
leg.
of the few places where you will cross your legs again,
Yeah.
right? So from your step, you will just. It's like walking, running. Just make it a nice big step.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes
So I want to give it a go for a couple minutes and just see
yeah.
how far you can push that like one step distance.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Push off. Oh, okay.
Okay, let me take a break for a minute
Yeah,
and see how are we feeling?
I'm feeling much better now. I get it now.
That's good? Good.
Yeah, I get it now.
All right. Want to go over 2 points on flushes real quick, one of which is most definitely from personal experience. So when you flush, just remember to go forwards, right?
Uh-huh.
Because I know when I flushed, I had a lot of problems with going up. Your opponent is not above you. Your opponent's over there, right? So when you flush, try to make sure as much of your force is going forwards as possible, right? Does that make sense? So just
Yeah.
less upwards, more forwards. And
Okay.
the other point I wanted to bring up, and this one is a little more advanced, and this is just something for you guys to think about more long term. But when you flush, try to make it less obvious. Like for example, right? If I'm facing you guys and you see me like start to lean forwards, you know I'm about to flush, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious. You can see my weight shifting. And so the best kind of flush is the kind where you don't see coming because there's no like visible prep. And obviously that will take some time to, you know, build into muscle memory, especially the way we teach it, right? The way we teach it is by leaning forwards first.
Yeah.
But once you get used to the whole like shifting your weight onto your front foot, you can start to lean less and less. And you can start to just do it straight from an on guard.
Okay.
So just something to think about. It doesn't have to be something you do like right away. But just when you're practicing, try to have that in the back of your mind. Cool.
Okay. Cool.
All right. That's some decent flush practice.
Yeah.
Uh, any other techniques you guys have like any questions about?
I can't think of any, no.
Actually, how do you all feel about balestra lunge? Because I know we don't do it that much.
Ooh, we could practice that one then.
You guys want to practice that? Okay.
Yeah.
All
But
right,
are
that
you
sounds good.
okay with that, Rowan? You want to practice celestial, Rowan? Are you okay with that,
Run.
Rowan? Alright, I don't know.
Rowan's not responding.
Rowan, play.
My volume's lower, so I didn't hear what you said.
Oh.
Oh, I was saying, are you okay with practicing celestial lunges?
Yeah.
Okay, coolio. I want to
All right.
know.
Just gotta make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Quick question. Do you guys know the concept? Like, do you guys know why we do balestra lunge?
No, I really don't.
No? Okay. So, to recap, right? Balestra lunge looks like a preliminary hop and then lunge, right? And the reason that we do a hop like this instead of just advancing is because it's a little trickier.
Hmm.
And so the reason why it looks the way it does, why we like lift our leg first, is because it's supposed to emulate a lunge. Because if we think
Oh.
about it, a balestra is a little hop. A lunge is, a lunge, but they both start with the same leg action. So
Okay.
the point of specifically a balestra is to trick the opponent into thinking you're lunging while also gaining distance. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
And so you don't have to put too much effort into like, oh, I have to fake this lunge, because it's still a fairly quick movement. But just so you know, like that's why it looks the way it does, and that's why we do it.
Okay. All right.
One more key point with the balestra, again, forwards, not upwards. All right. Obviously, it is a hop. You have to go up a little bit, but try to make
Yeah.
sure as much of that force is a forwards motion as possible. Does that make
And
sense?
Yeah, and like when we're doing a balustral lunge, we are
Mhm.
pulling our back legs quickly. Like when you kick
Yeah, let me
your
see if I can't zoom into my feet real quick. Okay. Nothing in the way there. So a baluster lunge, right? Front foot comes up, and then you'll see my back foot comes in, and they both land at the same time. I'm jumping a
Okay.
little more just for like demonstration purposes,
Okay. See, there's
right?
like I
So
remember him saying it has to make a sound at the same time.
yeah,
Like
you
both
want your
feet
feet to
hitting the
land at
ground.
the same time so that you can
Yeah.
go directly into your next footwork, right?
Okay.
Because if you have this like weird lag between your feet, then everything becomes just a little more awkward.
Okay.
So do your best to make sure your feet land at the same time. Make sure you're not jumping too high, and then try to transition into the lunge just as smoothly as you can.
Okay.
So I think with those few points in mind, let's just try working baluster lunges for a couple minutes. So just do a baluster lunge, think about it, and like think about, are we applying all the few points that we just went over? Okay.
Okay.
All right, and go ahead. Also remember arm first. Haha. Yeah, that's the one phrase you will hear the most in fencing, or in FA at least.
Yeah.
Arm first.
Arm first.
Yeah.
First.
And don't worry too much about like hopping a super long distance with this one, but do make sure you're going forwards and not up. Okay.
Okay.
Quick note: you can even practice just a balestra if you want to familiarize yourself with that. Just hop your way across your room or whatever. It's
Okay.
up to you.
I'm gonna do it.
Sure, do it. Because that is the like trickier part, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me take a break. Is it making a little more sense, hopefully?
Yes. I
Yes,
think
good.
doing it Yeah, up and down my room, just doing the balestia. It really helped.
Right, because that is the hard part, right? Because you have to have your balestra in a pretty solid place before you worry about the balestra lunge as a whole. But I
Yeah,
feel like most people don't think about just the balestra because
yeah.
nobody just hops around on strip like this, you know? So I think so people don't really think of it as an individual action, but you know, if you're going to do balestra lunge, you have to balestra before you can lunge,
Mhm.
right? So it's good to practice these things.
Maybe one day there'll be a famous fencer who only does his balestia. That would be
I
funny.
mean, you could there is a concept in fencing of feinting where you can just do some things to try and draw your opponent's reaction out. It's
Oh.
it's a little more advanced, but like basically if I'm trying to read an opponent, right? I'll like feint at them a couple times, try to get them to react. Because a lot of people in fencing, whether they know it or not, they
Mhm.
may tend to default to a certain parry.
Oh.
And feinting is kind of a way to like help read that. So for example, if I feint at somebody and I see them like taking parry 4 almost every time, then when I
Uh-huh.
actually commit to an attack, I can do my feint and then use 4 disengage and just go without having to try to react to it because I know that that's his default reaction. Does that make sense?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
makes
it's not
sense.
like Balestra by itself is completely useless. You can still use it.
Yeah. That's pretty
But yeah,
cool.
that's we won't worry too much about that for now. But yeah, something to think about, right? It's definitely something I use a lot in my fencing style.
Okay.
Because I mean, like, you see this arm. It's not a very strong arm. I don't take parries very much. So a lot of what I did when I fenced was to just try to get people to attack me and then
Uh-huh.
react accordingly.
Okay. All
So,
right.
if you don't have the muscle, use your brain instead. That also works.
That's a good quote. I like that.
I mean, that's why a lot of people call fencing like physical chess because
Oh.
you have to have a certain amount of like physical strength and reaction speed and whatnot. But
Mhm.
also, there's a lot of just outthinking your opponent as well. So it's good to think on both ends, and especially
Yeah.
like the mental end is not one that is easily practiced. So I try to like tell you guys how we approach things in hopes that you will have it click together in your head
Mhm.
so that when you actually hook up onto a strip and actually fence, you'll have some idea of like, hey, this is why I'm doing all of these things,
Okay.
right? Because if we just spend the whole time practicing like advanced lunge, you can hook up on a strip and your advanced lunge can be perfect. But if you don't know why you're doing it, it's still almost useless, right?
Yeah.
So like I hope that some of the stuff I say just like helps you understand how fencing works a little better.
It does. Well, for
Good.
me, it
That's
does.
good.
Yeah, it makes sense. Connecting.
All right. I'm glad. Let's see. What time is it? It's 5:30. Okay. I think we can move to Blade Works. We'll spend some more time on the complex stuff because it is, of course, more complex.
Yes.
All right. So everyone, grab your blade, grab your glove if you want it. Let's get ready for blade work.
Yay.
Okay. So just for a quick recap, we have learned 2 different types of multi-step attacks, right?
Yes.
We've got the advanced disengage lunge, and we have the retreat disengage lunge.
Uh,
Right?
huh?
Make sure I'm not missing anything.
No. Oh wait, are there any parries with those?
Right, it's retreat parry lunge.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Okay, so I was missing something. Good catch, good
yeah.
catch. So it is advance disengage lunge and
Yeah.
retreat parry lunge.
Okay.
Okay, those are our two multi-step attacks.
So it's like the forward motion one is more on the defense, while the backward motion one is the offense. Right? Kinda?
I would say they're both pretty aggressive.
Okay.
The difference is like our forwards motion one is that we have the initiative from the beginning. We're always moving forwards and we're
Yeah.
trying to react offensively to our opponent's parry and just go.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
Like there's no backwards motion. It's just 1, 2, 3.
okay.
Whereas our retreat parry, this is more of a counterattack, right?
Okay.
Because in the beginning, we're not taking the initiative, we're actually being attacked. And so this
Mhm.
is a reaction that we take in response to being attacked.
Okay.
So they're both still aggressive. They're just different kinds of aggression.
Oh, I got you. I
Does
had
that
it
make more sense?
backwards. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So is there anything specifically that you guys are having trouble with on the multi-steps, or is it a lot of just like flow issues?
Yeah, it's mostly just the flow.
Yeah, it's the
Getting used
flow.
Just the flow? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the one and only solution to that is repetition, really. So we'll focus on just the advancing version first. So as a review real quick, extend, advance, disengage, lunge, and then recover, right? So nothing else to do but to do it. So let's just take a couple minutes and just go through some reps and just make sure your form is good, right? Priority number 1, good form, and then priority number 2, smoothing it out. Okay?
Mhm.
So just go for it. Spend a couple minutes, make sure you're thinking through everything right, do whatever disengages you want to do, and just work on connecting it all together.
All right.
All right, go ahead. Okay, let's go ahead and take a break. Get some water. Take a breather for a couple seconds. Okay. I assume Rowan has gone to do something.
Probably get his
Oh, that's fine.
water.
We'll wait for Rowan.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, is it feeling a little smoother at least? The whole like
It
connecting
is.
all your actions.
Yeah,
That's
it
good.
is.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, there's no other way around it, right? You just got to do it more.
Yeah, there's no shortcuts. It's just
Hmm.
having to grind at it.
Yeah. And it is definitely harder when like we have these 1 hour practices and we're trying to cram as much info in as possible. But hey,
And we're doing it
sometimes,
alone.
yeah, that's also true. Because I mean, like Ian and I, we help you the best we can by like checking your form through camera. But it's not the same as doing it with other people.
Of course.
But hey. Hello there.
Ah, he was getting water. Knew it.
Yeah, I figured. Okay, so is this kind of practice helping?
Yeah. Oh, for
Good,
me it is.
good. Because I don't want to make you guys like do random stuff and then just have it not help, right? So I just wanted to make
True.
sure.
You're not trying to give us busy work, I see.
No busy work.
Never.
Everything you do should have meaning.
Yes.
But yeah, that's also why I try to give you guys a couple things to think about while you're just doing your reps, so that you're not just blindly doing it and know like how do I improve, right? Because if you just do it, it'll get smoother, but
Yeah.
may or may not be doing it wrong. Okay, so once you guys finish drinking your water and whatnot, we can do a couple minutes of practice on the other version, which is
All right.
retreat, parry, extend, lunge. Right? And feel free to take whatever parries you would like. You can switch it up and do whatever. But again, just spend a couple minutes on it. Make sure it's smooth.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not as much to think about for this one. Just for practice's sake, make sure you're completing all of your motions. Because it's easy to just like, kind of maybe you don't take your retreat all the way because you're just lunging back. But
Yeah.
make sure all your actions are complete. Take your parry, take your extend, and lunge.
Okay. So parry,
Yeah.
extend, lunge.
Mm-hmm.
So retreat, parry, extend, lunge. Okay.
Right. And we take our parry before we extend because A, we are getting attacked, and B, it is easier to take a parry when your arm is bent because then you have the leverage advantage, right?
True.
Because it's just I can't do the demonstration that Ian always loves to do. But he always does this thing where like he'll like extend his blade, have someone push against this part, the base of the blade, because no matter how hard you push against it, it's pretty hard to move. But here,
Yeah.
just a pinky will do it, right?
Oh.
And so the same goes for your entire arm. So, I mean, it's hard to visualize this, so I'm not going to go too much into detail. But when you parry somebody, your blade should typically be making contact in the lower half so that you
Oh,
have leverage, right?
the thicker part. Okay.
Yes. The closer to your hand, the better, because the stronger you will be,
Oh,
right? And
yeah.
conversely, you want to contact their blade by the tip, right? So
Oh, okay.
ideally, your blade is having contact here, and their blade is contacting yours from here,
Oh.
right? We won't dwell on it too much because there's no way to actually practice that. But,
True.
it's just a good thing to know. But yeah,
Huh.
just go ahead, just extend, parry.
Lunge.
I said that wrong, didn't I?
Yeah,
Retreat,
retreat.
parry,
Parry.
extend,
Extend.
lunge.
There
Right.
we
All
go.
right. But yeah,
Okay,
just give
got
it a
this.
couple minutes and try to connect it all together. Make sure your form is good, and go ahead.
All right. Up a little bit. Retreat. Parry. Retreat. Parry. Extend. Retreat. Parry. Retreat. Parry. Extend. Lunge. Retreat. Parry. Extend. Let's see.
All right, let's go ahead and take a break. Get some water. All right, how are we feeling?
Better.
Better? Good. That is always the goal.
Yeah.
Are there any like specific issues you guys are having with this one, or just smoothness?
With the parry,
Mhm.
I guess I made a habit of after I do the parry, I instantly like extend. Is that okay?
That's not a bad thing. I suppose just
Okay.
like just make sure you actually have the parry.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because if you make your parry action, but you extend without actually having blade contact,
Mm-hmm.
then there's no point in doing your parry. So just make sure you have the parry first.
Okay. All
But
right,
you know,
that makes sense.
can't do that now, but just keep it at the back of your mind.
Okay.
Okay. I think I will go over one new small concept. Has Ian ever gone over a concept of tempo?
No.
No? All right.
No.
So up until this point, we have basically only been practicing footwork with just the actions, right? So like we just extend, retreat, and you know, like we'll do some like slow advances up the strip, or like fast advances, or whatever. But now we're gonna sort of give that a more real life application. So when I am attacking an opponent, right? If I just do everything at the same speed, you know, do my extend lunge, you notice that there's a very noticeable pattern, and that makes me kind of easy to read. Because if they see this extend advance coming, they know, oh, I'm probably going to lunge right after this advance. And, you know, the more your opponent knows about what you're doing, the less good it is for you, right? So we are going to attempt to be a little trickier. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an advanced lunge, but when I do my advance, my first step is going to be really slow, and the rest of it is going to be as fast as I can make it.
Ah.
So by altering the speed at which I move, I hope to catch my opponent off guard, right?
Uh,
And so I'll look at specifically my feet real quick. Uh-oh. Okay, stop, please. Phone is giving me trouble.
oh
Okay,
no.
so I'm extending, right? My first step of my advance is actually incredibly slow, but this is the point where I speed up. So it's not my whole advance that is slow, but just the
Mhm.
first step. From here, my back leg is going to come back as fast as I can.
Okay.
So again, it's not the whole advance that should be slow, but just the first step.
Okay.
Because from here, because your back leg is usually supposed to come back fairly fast anyways, right? So we practiced
Mhm.
on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So here, we'll put some extra thought into it. Slow and quick. Does that make sense?
Yes. First step
And you can
slow,
do,
rest quick.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, why don't we just do that for a couple minutes?
Okay.
So it's just a normal extend advance or advanced lunge. We don't have to do anything else special. And just remember that your back leg is the first thing to speed up,
Okay.
right? And so just try to get it smooth. Don't trip over your feet when you're doing it, right? Because that is definitely likely when you're moving that fast.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, just keep it in mind if you have a mirror and you want to look at it, and you kind of see how do I appear to my opponent? You know what I mean? And try to use that if you have space, of course. And you don't have to do this with your blade.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's just something to think about. So just slow, fast. Okay. So
Okay.
just have at it for a couple of minutes and see how it feels. And just go ahead. Oh, and your arm should be out before you start extending. Haha.
Okay,
Arm
that
first.
makes sense. Arm first.
Haha, you thought I would forget, but no.
Yes.
Yeah, always arm first. You'll get sick of hearing it eventually.
Okay. Work with me, legs.
Yeah, today is definitely a lot of leg work.
My legs are like, no more. Hang in there.
Yeah, maybe I should have considered that before we started today.
Oh, no, you're good. My legs are just weak. That's all.
It's okay, me too.
Oh,
I mean, it is good to get the leg workout in because your legs are the most important part of fencing.
that's true. Do people end up having like knee and ankle problems?
Knee and ankle problems?
Yeah, like continuous fencing professionally.
Not that I've heard of. This would probably be a better question to ask Ian because I think he knows more about this kind of stuff than I do.
That's true.
Yeah.
True.
I haven't heard of it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
What I do know is that you can spot a fencer by looking at his thighs. Because, man, his thighs are going to be huge.
His thighs are hammy. Got the
No, seriously,
hammy
especially the dominant thigh because of all these lunges. Like,
yeah, like stone. Golly.
yeah,
I
no,
need to look
serious
that up
fencers,
now.
their thighs are like rocks. It's crazy.
That means they are a true fencer and they're dedicated.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Oh wow, I love that. Oh, arm first. So slow.
All right. Let's take a quick break. All right, how are we feeling on the tempo? Shouldn't be too hard, right?
Yeah, it's not too
Good.
hard.
Yeah, it's nothing like mechanically complicated. It's just
No.
like, it's just another tool in the toolbox, you know? All right, well, we have about 7 minutes. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions about just like anything fencing, really?
What got you into fencing?
Oh, what got me into fencing?
Yes.
So it was my sophomore year of high school. I just moved to a new high school and I was like, I need to make some friends, right? Like find a club of some sort. And in the media center, there was a fencing club poster with a couple of those, strips that you can pull off. I was like, hey, that looks fun. So, I pulled one off. I went to a practice and I was like, hey, I get to stab people. This is fun. And so I have just continued on with it ever since, really.
Really? Oh, how nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not some, like, I don't know, super inspiring story. Like, I saw it, I thought it was cool, and I went to try it, and I liked it. So here we are
I
today.
mean, every story doesn't have to be action-packed, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but that's a nice story. Huh.
It's been a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Got to, meet a lot of new people, especially through, like, tournaments and stuff. Because the more you go to, the more you'll, like, start to recognize people. Especially the good ones that are always making, like, medals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, that guy's on the podium again. I even have, like, actually fenced an Olympian fencer before at a
You
tournament.
did?
Whoa.
Yeah, I got crushed, by the way. But yeah, no, Georgia Tech holds a yearly tournament, not this year, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a fencer there by the name of Amon Fayez. He used to fence for Egypt, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
And since it was an open tournament and it was open to people of all ratings, that includes Olympians. So he was there.
That's amazing. Did
Yeah.
anybody beat him, or he was just unbeatable?
Oh boy.
How
So
much carnage?
he made it all the way to the finals. He is that good. He does this for a living.
Yeah.
And he actually lost in the finals. I forgot who it was at this point,
Uh-huh.
but he lost in the finals. And the whole highlight story of that day was that over the course of the final bout, he disagreed with a lot of the calls the ref made.
Oh.
And at
Oh.
the end, he actually lost his temper, ended up throwing some of his equipment, and he ended up getting black carded.
Oh my
So
goodness.
he's not allowed at Georgia Tech to fence anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a story. Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Even Olympians are not immune to the black card, so respect your refs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
Oh
crazy.
wow.
And especially because he was supposed to be second place, they had to figure out how to reshuffle, like, were they going to give medals out to everyone below? They ended up just skipping second place, I think.
I mean, that's a happy medium.
Yeah.
He should have been fine with second place. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the full story because I wasn't watching that bout. I was watching some other event at the time.
mhm.
But, I mean, I can imagine if you disagree with the ref on that many different points, like, he probably had it in his mind that he lost because of all the bad calls. So
Oh.
I can imagine why he got mad.
Okay. That makes
Doesn't
sense.
excuse his tantrum, obviously, but
No.
I can see
guess
how he
if he
got to that
didn't,
point.
if he didn't do the tantrum, he wouldn't have been black carded. But
Yeah, no, that's exactly. Like, the only reason he got carded is because he lost his temper and started throwing things.
ah,
Right? Now,
I
granted,
thought it
if
was
you, like,
because of.
disrespect your ref and you, like, say something bad to them, you're going to get penalized somehow.
Yeah.
How badly? It depends on the ref. At
You
best,
won't
you'll
get black
probably.
carded though.
It depends on what you say.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Like, you might give a point away to the opponent, or you might just get carded off the strip. So,
Makes sense.
that's one of the things in fencing is always, respect everyone around you, respect your opponent, your ref. Yeah, it's a very, like, gentleman's sport per se.
Oh, gentleman belt.
Like, yeah, like you'll still get your fair share of, not so nice people, but in general, the fencing community is pretty nice.
Oh, kind of wholesome. Like that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a story. It has nothing to do with fencing because I started doing fencing because Scarlett wanted to do fencing. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, my high school had it. I wasn't allowed to join any clubs. My English teacher was the captain of it.
Oh,
I
that's
never
cool.
went to anything. So I was like, I know what fencing is. And I wanted to do it with her and ended up liking it. So that's that story. But the other story I want to say is I did martial arts. I did kung fu. It was because I watched Kung Fu Panda and I was like,
Hey,
I want to do. I went to the movies and I was like, I want to do kung fu, and I did kung fu for a year. And at
yeah,
the
that's
end,
great.
my teacher was like, "What?" Me and my brother were like, what got y'all into it?" And I was like, "We saw Kung Fu Panda once, and we wanted to do it."
I mean,
It
hey,
was
inspiration can come from a lot of places.
it was amazing. But that's it. That's my story. Kung Fu Panda got me into martial arts for 1 year.
I mean, hey,
Oh,
whatever works, right?
yeah, I was just surprised my mom went through with it. She like founded it everything. I was like, okay, she's gonna take our bluff, and we did it. That's it.
All right. Well, practice is officially over, I suppose.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys have any other questions, I'm still free for a while. But otherwise, you are free to go, I suppose.
Oh, well, thank you for a very informative and actually clarifying practice today because the
That's
fletching,
good.
it was not clicking, and then the celestial one, it wasn't clicking either. So that
Right.
helped
Yeah. I'm glad I
immensely.
got to clarify these things because once it clicks, it gets so much easier. Like
It
everything makes more
does.
sense.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Because before I was like, you're just not gonna do it. If someone's attacking me, you're just gonna accept it. But now I can do it. I
Right.
never got it. Oh, but now I do. I'm so happy.
It's good to
Uh,
hear.
oh. Well, Rowan, what got you into fencing? What got you into fencing?
Oh, so my freshman year at GSU, I was in orchestra, and the person who I sat next to for the first few days was like, "Oh, you should come to fencing," and I did, and it was really fun. But I went to like one, I think one in December, and then like the end of the semester kind of celebration, and then I got to go to a few of them in the spring semester, but then COVID hit.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you joining near the end of that
aw,
year.
aw, how nice. Thank you for coming back.
Yeah. It's been good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
Before all the practices.
Mm.
All right. Well, I
Well,
suppose we shall end practice here for today.
hmm well, y'all have a nice rest of your evening, and
Yeah,
see you
you
on
too.
Wednesday.
Thanks for coming on spring break, everyone. See you Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye bye.
How did I
Uh,
leave?